Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Back to Backlog podcast with myself, Lindsay, and
Sam?
thank you, everyone, for joining us. Today, we are going to be talking about phone and mobile games. But first, Sam, what have you been playing?
So I was a site organizer for the Global Game Jam, so I ended up playing a lot of my own game that that I made with a couple of good friends of mine. We made a really
Shameless
cool.
plug. What's the game called?
Heck yeah, it's called Exo Gardener, and you're this gardener who goes out to the space station to find that everything's gone crazy. So you have to repair the station, and then you have to go and replant some of the garden.
Where can
And
people find this
they can
game?
find it on itch.io. If you search Exo
Oh,
Gardener, you'll find it. It is for VR platforms. It is a VR game, so you're a space gardener in VR, and it was really fun to work on. I'm very proud
very
of it.
cool.
So I spent a lot of time playing that, throwing it on other people's heads, and taking down notes so I could fix all the bugs. Uh,
Nice.
in terms of other people's games, I got a small chance to play another Playdate game. It's a Metroidvania called King's Dungeon, and it was really cool. It was really cute and funny, short and sweet. So that's pretty much it, though. I'll be honest. It's been quite hectic. How about you?
So I've just been playing a continuation of the cozy games. Played a little more Witchwood, some Bear and Breakfast. Disney Dreamlight Valley just came out with an update yesterday with 2 new characters and like a new event.
That's cool.
They also opened up their like premium store, which is cool. I mean, it's just like cosmetics, and it's gonna be a free to play game, which I didn't realize.
Ah,
Like the money you pay for it now is just for the like early access, which is cool. I mean, I don't remember. I bought whatever the biggest package was, but it was also on sale, so I don't even remember what I paid for it.
still, it's a neat way to do early access, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with it. I've been having a blast with it still. And it's really nice to see that they're doing like they've already like given their extended like this year-ish, like for the first like quarter of the year at least, like their plans for releases. So there's more characters that they're adding, bug fixes, things like that. And I mean, I haven't had too many issues with bugs. I joined a Disney Dreamlight Facebook group and left it pretty quickly because everyone there was it was interesting. It was very weird. But I guess for like people that have been playing it on console, especially Switch, have been having a lot of bugs. Like things
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that happened, like game breaking bugs. And I'm
yeah.
like, I haven't had a single one of those.
I have a feeling we're gonna see
Um,
more and more of that as time goes on, because like, yeah, the Switch is getting long in the tooth. I'm starting to hear rumblings from all the journalists, like, when is the next Switch coming out?
and realistically, it hasn't been out that long either. But I
Yeah,
think that
seven
I don't know.
years,
I think they just need to.
eight
I mean,
years.
I've let's see. I got mine in 2016. I think it was like the year
Yeah,
after. I think it'd been out for about a year. I think maybe 2015. That sounds right. I don't know if that's true or not.
no, that sounds about right. So that would
Um,
be like, I
I
think it.
guess that's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah, I can see it having some problems, especially since like the newer consoles have they're a lot more powerful. So having to make things so they run on the Switch, I can imagine the Switch ports are probably going to be. I also feel like if you buy your Switch to have it be your like main way of gaming, like for me it's always been like, and I realize it's pretty privileged to be like it's not my like main way to
right,
game,
right. My other
but
car's
like
a Porsche. Yeah,
exactly, but like at the same time, I love my Switch and I have definitely gotten my money's worth out of it, but I don't use it for, you know, like I guess like bigger games, not bigger games, but like more
yeah.
complex games.
Cross-platform stuff.
Yeah, like I'll always buy it for my computer or at the time when I didn't have a computer, I bought it for my PS4.
Right.
You know, so it was always like supplemental. I kind of treated it like I did my 3DS.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you can. I don't think it's meant to be like a
First device for.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that was a whole tangent.
Yeah, oh, of course. But you know, the Switch is the reason why the Switch is so popular is because playing games on the go is awesome.
It
And
is.
the way most of us play most of our games on the go these days, to be honest, you know, as much as we love our Switches and Steam Decks, is on our phones.
Yep. It is. Yeah, no, it's very true. Um, but yeah, Disney Dreamlight updates, lots of fun. And then Fortnite, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
But do your normal rotations.
Yeah, well, and I've taken Apex out for a little bit. I think
Yeah.
I said last time. The mouth breathers, and I can't handle it. It's like push to talk, people, for Christ's sake. Push to talk. Or don't use a headphone, like a microphone at all.
Yeah.
Like just one or the other. Stop it. Stop it. Okay.
Well, so okay. That was a lot. I love that. So I guess here, first up on my list is something I played a while ago, and something that I played recently.
Why don't we? Because we do phone games very differently.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So how do you like when you say? Because when I like mine is essentially supplemental. Like it's just like little games that I can pick up and put down. You know, I think
sure.
I think you play phone games a little bit differently.
I think so. A lot of my games are, you know, I've got time waiting for people, or you know, time I'm just kind of want to chill, and a lot of these games are games that I'll get really obsessed with for a while to the point where I have to uninstall it. So like I get into these games as a time waster, and then like I really waste too much time and then have to uninstall it, and it's a problem. So and yeah, you're right. I absolutely like. I'll go full in. I'll pay to get the ads removed, so I don't have to deal with that. It's like a whole like just far too deeply involved.
Yeah.
And then I'm out.
Yeah, I think I've spent money on like maybe 2 or 3 phone games, and that's it. And one of them's Pokemon Go. Like,
yeah, that's more reasonable. That's honestly more reasonable. I think there's only one of them on this list that is like super actually casual, and I could leave on without concerning myself or others around me. That maybe I'll end with that one. But
has your wife ever staged an intervention?
Yes. Yes, it was over solitaire.
Oh, solitaire of all things.
I know. It was over solitaire games.
Anyway, proceed with the first game.
Sure.
I want to talk about.
All right, so I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. You know, grew up with the old games. You know, pointy people. And so I'm, you know, when they put out some mobile games, I was super interested because, so in 2015 they came out with Lara Croft Go, which was, and I think this was before Pokemon Go was out. I don't remember, but this was based on like the, so it was a sort of follow up to Hitman Go, which Hitman Go was this interesting like board game version of Hitman, and so they did something kind of similar with Lara Croft Go. It was a brand new adventure, and Lara's going into these dungeons, and there's this sort of like grid of nodes that you can move Lara to, so you can just kind of swipe in the direction of the next spot on the board, and you just solve a bunch of puzzles. Like even the sort of combat is really more about sort of leading, you know, like these ancient lizards or something, or other animals that attack you. You know, often it's more leading them into a trap than anything, and like not letting them catch up to you more than it is like shooting or anything. So it's definitely a puzzle game. It's a Tomb Raider puzzle game that was really, really good. There's a lot of secrets. Like I played it all the way through. Now it's on everything, you know. I think I played it on my Vita even, but it works really well on the phone. I think that swipe control works really well. And so this morning I saw that they had released sort of recently a new Tomb Raider game, and it's Tomb Raider Reloaded. So this year, where the first one was Square Enix Montreal. This one's I think they contracted it out to Emerald City Games, and this is sort of more. It's still kind of like a really nice mobile version of Tomb Raider. Um, it's more of a retelling of the first game, so it opens up with a cutscene talking about Lara being contracted to go find the Atlantean Scion, and you sort of go through the same levels as in the original story, uh, but it's more like focused on the action side of things. So what happens is you drop your finger anywhere and move it around as a virtual joystick to move Lara in a direction, and then whenever you stop, Lara will automatically shoot at things. And so you're just trying to like dodge things, and sort of your risk reward is about when do you stop and for how long do you stop and let Lara shoot at things. And it's got all the mobile game trappings of like an ancient roulette wheel to see what new a bunch of coins you get, but it also has like kind of roguelite trappings too, where like you'll upgrade and you'll be given the choice between three different upgrades that you can go with, kind of like how sort of that Vampire Survivors upgrade system worked. And to be fair, though, they don't even let you look at the shop until you've beaten the first area. And even when I got there was no way to put real money in. It was like, no, you can get extra, crystals by either playing or watching a ton of ads. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just play. So it was kind of nice. It has all the predatory trappings that like are addictive, but it has none of the give us money part of that. So it feels a lot nicer. I think it does a really good job of capturing in a mobile game the action side of the Tomb Raider game, whereas Lara Croft Go really captures the puzzle side far better. So it's really neat. If you like Tomb Raider, like those two games are like the great two different ways to play it on a phone.
I've never heard. I mean, I don't think I've probably heard of anything that you're going to talk about.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
I mean, I typically just play like it's mostly puzzle games, to be perfectly honest. Um and like various ones, like I'll pick them up and I'll put them down and do a different one. A lot of them, like I can't remember the name of it. The one where it's like a house that you can decorate and you unlock. I mean, they're all kind of like that. A lot of them are.
Nice.
You have a thing and you play and you get to customize and make that thing look pretty, whether it's a garden or a house. Or if it's, some of them are like fashion related. They're just time killers. Like I'll play a little bit before I go to bed to sort of like shut my brain off.
Nice. Yeah.
And then like it's pretty much how I use them. I've played a number of those like idle games, like the Neku Atsume Castle Cat kind of thing. I don't really do those anymore because they're just don't. So yeah, I mean, and nothing like, there's only a few titles that I'm like kind of attached to that I'll like go back to, but most of them I'm not very loyal to. Like
That's
I've
fair.
probably played like I don't know, 10 plus puzzle little games that I just like, will play for a couple of months and be like, oh, okay, I'm done with this one now, on to the next one. And it's not even because it gets harder or anything. It's just,
yeah, you just got what you wanted out of it, and you're sort of done with it.
Which is part of the reason I don't spend any money either, because I know I'm not going to stick with it.
That's super fair.
Mm-hmm. So no specific titles there, just themes of puzzle games and idle games.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see. So one really cool game, a tower defense game, called Steampunk Syndicate. Good friend of mine. He put me onto that one. I'm not normally a huge like tower defense guy, but they can be pretty fun. Going through an upgrade tree and this and that. And it had really cool steampunky, cartoony art. So I really enjoyed Steampunk Syndicate. That was a good game. You can unlock like Tesla towers that zap your enemies and big steam powered things to defend. But and then you have a sequel. I got hitched up on a bug halfway through and had to just was like, all right, well, that's done.
No.
I couldn't. It was like a soft lock.
No.
I couldn't get past No matter how many times I tried to replay it.
That's the
I
worst.
know, I know. At least like I got through a whole first game and it was like a bug, a soft lock in the second game. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But I really do recommend Steampunk Syndicate. I think it was a really cool tower defense game, and like, yeah, I got to the end, and I was like, all right, cool. Um, and I did move on to the second one, but yeah, they've probably patched it by now, because it's been, I don't know, a few years since then, since they released it. So, but they're really cool tower
Yeah,
defense. They're
probably.
cool tower defense games, to be honest.
Nice. I've never gotten into tower defense games. They're just not my favorite.
Yeah, they're really passive, but like, I don't know. I was kind of feeling it at the time. It was just kind of like, while making dinner and like, set up a few more towers, upgrade a couple things, and then just
Yeah,
stir.
it's probably fine in like a phone game. Like that would probably be okay, but like normally tower defense games,
Mm,
I don't have the like I mean, if I really thought about it, I could probably come up with a strategy, but I just don't want to.
yeah, I mean, I'll be
If I'm
honest.
being
This
honest.
one was this one was pretty mindless. It's pretty. It was pretty easy,
um,
thankfully.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we mentioned Pokemon Go, but that is one of the actually Nintendo has a few Pokemon games. There's the Pokemon Go, there's like a cafe game, the Magikarp Jump game,
Oh my God, I
and
loved.
another puzzle game that I forgot the name. The cafe one is like it's a puzzle game, and I like it better than the other one that I can't remember the name of. So they have a couple,
Nice.
and I've played all of them. The older, actually, I think you can get both puzzle games on. The older one I had on my 3DS, and then I realized, oh, I can get it on my phone. That sounds way better.
Nice.
So yeah, those are a lot of fun. And I mean, Magikarp Jump is just so stupid, but it's so fun.
It was so addictive. I loved that.
I love it. I love it so much. But that one, I think, I wish that it was a little less predatory. Like that has a really steep, like
Hmm.
monetary value to it.
Yeah, I
Like
don't remember spending
the
money on
packs.
it. Maybe
I
because
didn't
it
either
was.
because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
I spent a little bit to get something, but I mean, it was like $5. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
wasn't that much. And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my big gripe with that is, but it's so fun. It's so stupid. I love it. I still play it fairly frequently. Like it's installed on my phone, and it's so stupid. I love Magikarp.
I forget what the gameplay is right
You
now.
train your Magikarp and you go through like so you train your Magikarp, you like feed it and like go through little training things with it. You can get little like items to put in like the water that give it bonuses, and then you can
Oh,
get like bonuses and items from the other Pokemon that you can get to like hang out with you.
nice.
And yeah, and you train them, and then you go through like bosses essentially, or like not bosses, but like you fight. There's like a road with trainers who also have Magikarp, and you have to jump higher than their Magikarp in order to progress. And it's so stupid, and I love it. But like, there's also traps too. Like if your Magikarp jumps out of the water too many times, like a Pidgey can come by and like take it away.
Oh, right. And it's
Or
just
like
random.
yeah, or like if find pretty glass in the water, it can be like I think that one was like a hook that like hooked the Magikarp and you had to get a new one because it obviously died.
Oh.
So it was like abrupt. So I'm always scared to like but it's like a risk and reward thing. Cause some of them like you'll get pretty good items, but other times like you'll have to start over.
Yeah.
It's so
So
funny.
good.
It scared the crap out of me the first time that happened. I was like making poor Magikarp jump, and all of a sudden Pidgey comes out of nowhere. It was like, oh no! And then you have to go back to the Magikarp like pond to get another one, and like
Start all over.
you start all over. The person was like, you should take better care of it. Like, what's wrong with you? Essentially.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say Pokemon Go was absolutely freaking revolutionary. That
I
summer was magical that
Yes,
it
the
came out.
day it came out, my boyfriend and I like went just downtown, and like everybody was doing the same thing. Like it was such a magical time.
And we
Like
just
I
would
don't think I
travel to nearby towns to go to their parks, and we just bump into friends of ours
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't even
yeah.
plan to bump into. Like,
We didn't even leave like the city that we live in because there's just so much like
Yeah,
on the main downtown strip.
yeah. I
So we
don't.
just like hung out there.
It's so good. I don't even like. I don't play it regularly, but if I go somewhere new, like a convention or something, I'm bringing Pokemon Go out just to
Yeah.
like check for stops so you can like get the what is it like the stickers or something you give away in the gifts that have like the
Yep.
Pokestop like where it's from.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, little gifts. Yeah.
I,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I will say they keep being like, "Hey, you want to be part of a raid?" And I'm like, "No, this is not an MMO."
Yeah, I haven't done that because it's like it's timed and I'm just never around it.
Yeah.
Like I'll do the gym sometimes if I'm around.
Yeah, I always felt like all the gym and battling stuff is like this is for people who like live in New York.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or Boston or whatever, right?
Yeah, anytime like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, so it doesn't really, and like we live in a smaller city, so it's not quite the same
Right. Yeah, we don't
volume
have
of people.
high density of Pokestops.
Mm-mm. No, it's basically just like downtown, and then it's like, a ways away from one Pokestop to the next.
Yeah.
But yeah, that summer was awesome. We just like met a bunch of people that were also just out catching Pokemon and playing Pokemon Go. It was great.
I mean, I've definitely spent time like, hey, can you just like drive slowly by the park? Yeah, yeah. You want to spin the stop? Yeah. Okay. Just slowly creep by it on the way home or something.
Yeah, yep, yep, yep.
It's so good.
But yeah, Nintendo makes some pretty good mobile games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess while I'm sort of feeling nostalgic, I should bring up Progress Bar 95. This game, I think early releases came out in 2019, but they are still adding stuff to it. So Progress Bar 95 is this crazy like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like you are with your finger, you're moving a progress bar around the screen, and little like pieces of progress bar are falling down in like small little chunks, and you're trying to catch the blue ones to make the progress go all the way. And there's some like double blue, and there's like corrupted orange that are like half point, and then there's some like red which will like mess you up, and there's a couple other like trap ones, and like so you're trying to fill up this progress bar, and like every once in a while there'll be a pop-up that you have to like click close on, or like Clippy will come and like, hey, did you know, and you have to like close him out. Because the whole game takes place in like an old computer. The first sort of operating system that you unlock is Progress Bar 95, right? It's based on Windows 95, and you can like unlock Progress Bar or like Progress DOS, Progress Bar XP, like Progress Bar meme, right? Making fun of Windows ME. There's like a whole like line of Mac OSs you can unlock too. And like every time you're earning points, you're like upgrading your like fantasy hardware. So like there's just punny like fantasy versions of like the old Pentium and whatever. Like, oh, you upgraded your RAM to like 16 megs today. And like by the time you're done the game, you've unlocked Progress Bar 11, and you're like got 32 terabytes of hard drive you're upgrading today. Like it's just this weird nostalgia trip. Like when you do collect the yellow progress bar segments, you can play a mini game to defrag, like defragment your hard drive to like get full
It's pretty
points.
clever.
Um, there's a whole solitaire game in there. It's a simplified like 5 card solitaire, like 1 through 5 solitaire instead of 1 through king, ace through king. And there's like a weird like matrix mini game which shows up every once in a while. There's like they just added a whole new like vintage web experience, so you can like hunt down this like vintage looking internet, like finding bonus point buttons. Like it is crazy deep. It is insane and hilariously just it's a weird neat time for anyone who has any nostalgia for old computer stuff like 90s upward. um it's just a neat game. It's very weird, it's very cool. I don't I love it on the phone. I do think the Steam version probably wouldn't be too bad. Um, but yeah, it's weird. It's worth a look. It's worth a spin
Hmm.
to see if you like it. Because if you do like it, like the upgrade path, it's just kind of fun watching like fake fantasy hardware get upgraded. Like you're upgrading your CPU or your RAM or whatever um, as you play. It's neat that like you play the same game, but it just keeps upgrading itself. Like the experience keeps changing in theme and tone. But it's the same exact game. So I don't know. Progress Bar 95, I super dig it.
That actually sounds pretty interesting. Um, so the one game that I have been playing for quite a while, and that I keep like I haven't really stopped playing it. It's the Nikki Love Dress Up Queen game, and it's basically like a fashion game, but it has like a lot of other stuff you can do. Like there's like a storyline. You can join like I forget what they're called, but they're like stylist like guilds basically with like other players.
That's neat.
And like do like earn stuff there, like do little quests and stuff there to unlock more clothes. um what else can you do? There's like a style competition, but there's also like a free dress where you can just like I mean there's a couple different types of style competitions. There's like one of them you like they give you parameters, and some of the parameters are pretty arbitrary. I will say that they could clean that up a little bit. But like whoever has like the highest point like wins that round. And you get like in-game currency for doing that. And then
So can you use the in-game currency to like buy new outfits?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's outfits, materials.
Oh, that's
Mostly actually
cool.
just outfits, not materials. You
Oh,
get
okay. There's
like you
no like
can't
crafting.
there is crafting, but it's all like you turn like you get clothes from like levels or like from the little um because like there's like a store I guess that like they'll update.
Oh, cool.
They have, and then there's like the premium currency, and then there's like the non-premium currency, and like the store has both of those. Like you can get clothes for those, but basically like you take clothes and make different clothes with
Hmm.
the crafting. So there is crafting. It's got a lot of like little things, so there's a lot to do. It feels pretty immersive. The story's pretty good. And it's really like aesthetically nice too, because they just like I mean they have like fantasy clothes, they have just normal kind of fashion, like high fashion clothes, different aesthetics. It's really a lot of fun.
It sounds really
um
cool. Yeah, I knew nothing
yeah,
about this until that trailer
I was
for
so excited.
the
Yeah.
spin-off like platformer game came out.
Yes. I
That
don't think it's a platformer. I think it's supposed to be like it looks like more like Breath of the Wild. Like not necessarily open world, but like you're free to move around and do things,
yeah,
like
I mean,
more of an RPG.
some of the environments they had the characters sort of floating and jumping through reminded me a lot of like Alice Madness Returns designs, except just with a whimsy prettiness instead of like a twisted Victorianness.
I'm really interested to see what it is and what it looks like. I was so excited
It looks
when
gorgeous, and I
it
love
looks
the
really nice.
idea that your powers are based on the outfit you're wearing.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I'm pretty into fashion anyway, like not like, you know, how, like high fashion or anything. Like I don't pay attention to that, but like I like, clothes. I like putting together outfits. I like seeing like a lot of the like YouTube content I watch is like people thrifting, people putting together outfits for like different events and aesthetics and whatever. And
Nice.
I really like that. So I think that's part of the reason I'm drawn to like I played another one similar to it, but I stopped because this one was just better. I don't even remember what the other one was called. This one was just like much better put together.
Super cool.
Um, yeah, it's really it's a lot of fun. Um, so
That's
I'm really excited to see what they do with like the video game.
Yeah, that seems really neat. Cool, cool. I guess I'll stick with the magical theme here then. A mobile game I super recommend. It's something that you can kind of pick up for a while, have a wonderful time with, and just kind of let go whenever you feel like. but it's a really neat idea with really beautiful, really cool art. It's Miracle Merchant. It came out in 2017. Miracle Merchant is this really cool game. You basically, it's kind of, I don't know, it's this card game, right? And you have four different decks. You have a green deck, a yellow deck, a blue deck, and a red deck. And throughout the decks, you're kind of pulling. You see the top card of the deck,
Mhm.
and uh, as you use the cards in the game, you will sort of flip over the next card. And every once in a while, you'll get a black card. So they're sort of like Black Death looking cards with crows and spiders and things on them. Um, but what you're doing in the game is you have a queue of customers, and they're all sort of different, like medieval fantasy looking characters, witches and goblin dudes and that sort of thing, and knights. And you can always, as long as you can see them in the queue, you can usually see the person you're serving and the person behind them. And you can see that there's a speech bubble that says the sort of the color of ingredient that they need in the potion that they're requesting from you. And then once they walk up to you and they're the current customer, you can also see a different little bubble that shows you the ingredient that they really like. So you can get bonus points for giving them that, but you must give them the sort of the required ingredient. So then you just have to take from your deck and sort of build up a potion of 4 cards. So if they need a red and they really like yellow, then obviously you'll pick a red card first to start maybe, and then you'll maybe throw in a yellow. But you can get bonus points for doubles. The cards themselves have little indicators that give you bonus points for, say, I picked a red card and it's got a little yellow indicator on the left. So if I put a yellow card to the left of this card, then I get a bonus for doing that. Um, they might say, hey, you'll get a bonus for any blue card in the potion. And you're like, oh, maybe I'll throw in a blue card as well. And the black cards sort of give you negative points. But sometimes, like, there'll be a knight or something who comes up to you and he needs a black card. And so you need to put one of the sort of the negative point cards in there, and you have to balance the other points around it so that it
Hmm.
stays above 0. Like, you can't give anybody a potion that's worth less than 1 point. But if you don't have any black cards, say, or then you can once per sort of game, you can boot a customer to the back of the line, so you'll serve them last. And yeah, sometimes you'll run out of cards by the time you get to the last customer because you've kind of used up every card in the red deck, and then the second to last customer needs red. It's a required ingredient. You're like, I shouldn't have wasted all my reds. So it's this interesting balance. It's just got really cute art, and it's pretty simple. And like, I found it like really just easy to play without thinking too hard, and you can kind of play it at your own time. There's no time pressures. So I don't know. I dig it. It's really cool. It's really pretty, and it's a neat idea for like a card
Yeah, that does sound cool.
thing. So
I do like a good card game.
yeah.
Let's see. So this one, it's like a phone app, but I kickstarted this a few years ago in 2020, or I got it in early 2020. It's called Melbits Pod, and so you get this little, it's like this egg shaped toy contraption that you essentially you use it to raise the like little creature in the phone app. Like what you raise depends on, like, if you put it in like a light environment, a dark environment, a cold or a warm environment, like
Mm.
depending on like what the environment is when you're raising that specific little thing, um you will get like a different outcome.
Nice. It's kind of like the dark and light chow thing, except it's more about an environment than an
Yeah,
alignment.
except you're actually like physically putting your
Oh.
little egg into the refrigerator or on the heater or something.
Oh, that's cool. So
So
the physical device has
yeah,
like
yeah.
sensors on it
Mhm.
to know.
Yep.
That's really neat.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I haven't played with it as much as I did when I first got it. But they're still updating it. You can still buy them. And it's a really neat idea. The whole reason I got it is obviously I like Tamagotchis, so this was kind of a cool, um, like a different take on it.
Hmm.
But this one obviously like costs money because you like the app is free, but the app is useless without the little pod. So like they go together, which honestly I think those are fun, like those little interactive. Like you have to have something
Yeah.
to be able to play the game. You know, I don't know what the price point is. It was so long ago I kickstarted it. I don't remember it being like heinously expensive, but also don't remember it being like super cheap either.
Mm.
Um,
That's
but
still
it's really cute.
that's a
And
really
then
neat experience.
yeah, and then when you release them too, but like you can also like if you do something wrong, you can also create a virus. And like it
And
I don't know what the viruses serve or anything like that. But like yeah, if you mess up and don't meet its needs when you're raising it, then it can become a virus.
mm, that's neat as heck.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun too. The little egg thing makes noise too, I believe. But and you can I didn't know this with because I think I posted it on the Facebook page or something. I'm like, can you turn the sound? Because it was really loud. And at the time I was using it, my boyfriend and I were on different schedules. He was working first shift, I was working
Oh,
second shift. So like I couldn't be super loud, like 1 a.m. when I wanted to play with it.
right.
Because like we have a fairly large apartment, but like it's still like it was really loud. But you can like adjust the volume, which is good to know. Yeah, it's such a cool idea.
That's cool.
I'm surprised it didn't take off a little bit more than because I don't think it's very popular. Like I don't think a lot of people bought it, but it's really cool. And I didn't hear like any chatter about it much in the like the Tamagotchi group, Simon, and I kind
Mm.
of expected that. I just don't know if they advertised it as strongly because I think they have a really good product, and I think that it's something a lot of
Yeah, they just need to get the word out there to get the
yeah,
people who
like
would want to buy it and play
I
with
can
it.
see kids liking it. I can
Yeah.
see adults, who
You're gonna have to show me this thing at some point so I can see what this thing is like because that seems really neat. I really want to see a demo of this.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it, and hopefully, I mean, they've been continuing to support it, so it's really solid, and I can see like people of all ages really liking it, whether
Mm,
it's a kid or an adult like me who, I mean, I still buy myself toys. It's fine.
yeah.
Um, or like want the nostalgia of like something that feels like a Tamagotchi.
Yeah. That's cool, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so my next game is something, again, I can easily recommend this to anyone. It's a game called Reigns. The original came out in 2016. I really dug its sequel, Reigns Her Majesty, I believe it's called. And there was a Game of Thrones themed version of this, which is
That
cool.
sounds familiar.
So the general concept is that you are cursed to be a king who will keep reincarnating forever. And sort of there's this dog by your side, which is like actually the devil in disguise, or like the dog gets possessed by the devil or something. And like the devil has cursed you to sort of constantly fail and be killed and have to relive and reincarnate all the time because I guess you made some like bad deal or something. I forget. Um, but in general, your day to day life is you have four indicators. One represents the church, one is the people, one's the army, and the other is the treasury. And you're trying to make decisions that will ensure that none of these four different bars sort of like fill up all the way, because then that one particularly part of the country is too powerful, and then you get an event where like if the treasury gets all the money, it's all the way at the top, then the traders guild will overthrow you. If your church, and the same with the other direction too. If your bar goes all the way to the bottom, then you'll probably end up getting killed. Like your um the people, right? The people is like all the way at the bottom, and it's like, hey, there's no more people to rule. You failed as a king. um And the way you make decisions is you get a stack of cards and you're presented with a little bit of story, and you can swipe left or right, Tinder style, to make a yes or no decision usually. There's sometimes they flavor it a little bit more than just yes or no, and sometimes it's just a next. So whichever direction you're swiping, it's just continuing the story. But it's really neat. And you do get indicators with each decision. Like if you sort of swipe it to the left but you don't let go, or swipe it to the right and you don't quite let go, it'll show you little small like circle indicators above the different meters telling you which things that decision will affect and like by how much, but it won't tell you in which direction. So you can generally intuit it from the decision you're making, right? Where they say, "Hey, there's a plague. We need to close the castle gates," and there's a big circle under people, and there's a circle under, you know, the treasury or something, right? Then you kind of know, okay, well, if we close the gates, then we're going to kill a bunch of people. Like that's the decision you're making, right? You can kind of guess. But it's really neat, and there's a lot of really interesting secret decision. Like there's some decision trees that you can sort of wind your way down to sort of unlock bits of the story that sort of span the whole time, not just the small little reign of the lifetime you're living just then. So it's neat. It's neat to see how long you can sort of stay alive for, because I doubt anyone can sort of make the decisions to like stay alive forever, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's like somewhere between, you can get yourself killed in a few years, you can get yourself killed in like 100 years if you do really well, sort of thing. But it's just a neat game, and sort of taking that Tinder left right swipe and turning it into a game mechanic was a really cool idea, and I think it worked out well.
Yeah, that's an interesting. This one I might have. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, I definitely would recommend Her Majesty. The first one's good, but I think Her Majesty is even better. And I guess Game of Thrones fans would just gravitate towards that first.
Nice. Yeah. So again, Nintendo, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, very cute. Love me some Animal Crossing.
I had no idea there was a phone game.
Yeah, it's different from the typical Animal Crossing game. So you have like a little campsite with like a camper that you can decorate. You can invite like little friends to, little creatures. I guess they're not really villagers if they're camping, but villagers.
Yeah, but I like the theme idea. Like you're on the go because you're on your phone, and so your character is on a vacation somewhere.
Yep, and then there's different locations, so you can go and like collect different like fruits and different bugs and different fish, talk to different villagers, and when you meet certain requirements, you can invite those villagers to like hang out with you.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. There's like, I haven't spent any money on it, but I could see like if you wanted stuff, you could easily spend money in it. But yeah, it's just cute. It's fun. It's low stress. It's something fun to play while you're just killing time in between tasks or whatever.
Nice.
That one's fun.
Cool. Yeah, well, I guess if we're going with chill time killers, I'll go with the one that I foreshadowed I did not have a toxic relationship with, which is Alto's Adventure and Alto's the sequel, Alto's Odyssey, which I like the sequel way better. Or I like them both a lot. I think the sequel adds just enough that it's like it edges out, and it's like, yeah, of course I'll play Odyssey first. But I'm not upset to play Adventure. So it was made by in 2015 by Team Alto. They did eventually port it to consoles, which is interesting because this game is like, it's got that like flash vector graphic design look. So like blowing that up to 4K was gorgeous. But it's great on phones too. It's a one button experience, so it works wherever it is, and I think it works really well on the phone. So you're just like, yeah, the first game at least, you've got like a bunch of llamas who've escaped this pen, and so you have to like, or alpacas, I think it's alpacas, and yeah, that makes more sense. It's alpacas, and so you have to like sandboard down these hills, and it's just like this infinitely downward hill, and you can do flips, and you can sort of catch up to these guys, and get points for catching up to them. Every so often there's like a big jump that you have to make over sort of to get to the next section. um, and it was really really cool, and Odyssey took that and they added several different biomes. Like there's like a sandstorm area, there's like a really cool lush environment area where a lot of the time in Alto's Odyssey there's hot air balloons with like little strings with those little triangle flags on them, and you can sort of grind on those and get points for that. And in the jungle area, there's also vines which sort of will snap if you stay on them too long. It's really cool, and they added like this cool like in sort of the desert mesa rock area. They added like jumping up these sort of textured walls. I don't know, it's super cool. And then if you get far enough in the game, you can unlock like a wingsuit, like a little jet powered wingsuit. Like you get like so much fuel to sort of jet your way, to sort of do some tricks and loops above the ground a bit more. It's neat. I think the best thing about it is that, you know, at every point to get to the next level, they give you 3 goals. And they're like, do this and do that thing and do that thing. And you just have to focus on figuring out how to do that one, those 3 tasks, right? So you're not expected to learn how to, bounce off a rock and backflip over 2 hot air balloons right away, right? The first task is just like collect a few coins, jump over a chasm, basic stuff. And it just keeps getting, more complex as you get better. And that sort of skill progression is really gradual and really nice. And like there's a few sort of things that I struggled with. And I remember, at least in the phone version, at least with Adventure, you could sort of be like, all right, I'm going to pay, with the coins that you gain in the game, not like real money. You're like, I'm just going to sort of pay to skip this one task that I'm struggling with, and I'll go and earn the other 2. And then you make it to the next level. And after so many levels, you unlock another character who might be faster or sturdier, or might have a double jump, that sort of thing. I think I got to the end of Alto's Adventure, and you like actually unlock an alpaca as a person you can sandboard with, which
I
is
love that.
really cool. So it's a really chill time. Like it's got chill vibe music. It's got great like sunset color schemes. The sort of just vector banding. The art style is just really great. It's a chill time, whether like no matter where you're playing it. It's just a chill time. So that I can pick up and put down like anytime, and it's nice. And now I'm back to my cozy game voice.
Well, they keep with the music theme. Both Bang Dream and Love Live, which are both animes, like idol anime. Well, Love Live is an idol anime. Bang Dream is like a band anime. Cool. Think like an updated K-On!
Okay.
Kind of vibe.
I
yeah, it's one of my favorites. But they're rhythm games, and I love them. Nice. I don't play them as much anymore. I played them for a long time and pretty frequently. It's just a lot of fun. They are. I remember the Love Live one being difficult for some reason, and I'm usually pretty good at rhythm games. So I don't remember why I thought it was hard though. I haven't played them in a little bit, but I definitely recommend them because I mean, Love Live is one of my I love idol animes. Love Live is one of my favorites. I haven't seen the newest one. There's like a new one that came out. I've seen Sunshine in the original, but I haven't seen whatever like the newest one is. But they have all the characters with different outfits, and I love it. I love the aesthetic. I like the music too from both Bang Dream and Love Live. So it's cool to hear the music.
So is it like the sort of bubbles that reach the edge of the screen kind of rhythm game, or?
Yes.
Okay,
I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't remember what Bang Dreams looked like. I played that one a lot less. Part of it too is I never have the sound on my phone, or like if I'm playing
unless you have headphones,
yeah, like there's something else happening in the background. Like I'm never just on my phone, like watching a video or Um, they usually have like the TV on in the background or something
Yeah, which makes sense why you
when
haven't
I'm
played
doing that.
those rhythm games in a while.
Yeah, I played them a lot more pre-pandemic because I did a lot more
Mm,
of just the phones, like pre-pandemic for whatever reason.
that makes
But
sense.
now I'm much more likely to pick up my Switch, my Steam Deck, like
Yeah.
one of my 3DS if I'm looking for something to like sit down and play.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I definitely recommend them, especially if you like those animes, and you like the just the vibe, the pop idol
Yeah.
vibe, or the girl band. I mean, the Bang Dream it's more rock than Love Live, but it's still pretty poppy.
Mm. Well, I guess I gotta. Let's see. I've got a story game that totally you might not jive with based on the way you play phone games, for sure.
Probably not.
It's and now it is available on Steam and things, but it's called 80 Days. So it's another game from Inkle. You know, I've talked about many of their games here, like Heaven's Vault and things. But 80 Days was sort of one of their original breakout hits. It sort of came out in 2014 and won like some iOS Game of the Year award thing. And so the thing about 80 Days is that it is a steampunky retelling of Around the World in 80 Days. And you are Passepartout, the sort of valet for Phileas Fogg, the gentleman who's made the bet that he can make it around the world in 80 days. So you have to help him along, do some sort of research or exploring around cities that you visit. You have to purchase and pack the suitcases and make the travel arrangements. And sometimes, the travel arrangements are, so much more money per piece of luggage, so maybe you should have less luggage, but the things you carry, the things that you sort of buy along the way and that you can carry will either, like with clothing, it'll help, if you buy like a warm winter coat, then you can sort of do really well if you take the sort of go through Russia route, right? Whereas you might want some spyglass or something if you're going to go on the ocean faring route across the Indian Ocean, that sort of thing. The thing that's really nice is that the whole game takes place across this like big globe, and you've got these Indiana Jones like travel lines, right? And you have many different options. So you get to a city, and you can explore and you can find some new routes, and then you get to decide. You make choices like, oh, I'm going to take the ferry, or maybe we'll board this new Artificers Guild dirigible. Maybe you'll go north. I ended up at like the North Pole, and it was the craziest thing. And maybe you'll run out of money and you'll be almost bankrupt in Japan, so you'll have to call up your bank and be like, please, I need a loan, so that you don't die. Yeah, I think you can always sort of make it to back to London, unless, except for the few circumstances where you really die. I think you
You make it back
generally
unless you're dead.
right. You generally can make it back. Like, you generally running out of money is just sort of an embarrassment thing, and it costs a lot of time. Um, Most paths will take more than the 80 days to get back, and you sort of see the newspaper at the end. Phileas Fogg makes it, but loses his bet, sort of thing. I've never done it within 80 days. I've seen other people do it. I know it's possible, but honestly, it's still just fascinating getting. There's so many different stories you can experience by all the different routes that you choose to go through. It's really, really well written. Like the writer on this, I think there was a pair of writers, but I think the head writer, she did a really wonderful job. Like, they one of the things that I like is they do a good job at characters in sort of a lot of places of the world who wouldn't trust these two kooky white guys. They don't trust them. Like, the Passepartout, you're walking into situations where, like, this is not your country, this is not your home. Like, you are a witness to a lot of things. You're a witness to a revolution, or you're a witness to this and that. Like, you are guests in a lot of places, and some people are more friendly to you than others, and for good reason. And that sort of I don't know. In that way, that's part of why I call it steampunky, is because it's got a very modern mindset about the writing. And the other part is like, yes, they do absolutely have a bunch of fantastical gadgetry and things that weren't necessarily in the original story, right? Um, but it's a neat game. It's really cool. If you feel like you want a game that you can beat, good luck to you. If you feel like it's more like you're sitting down and reading a novel with some inventory management and some travel scenes. Um, but it's a really cool choose your own novel.
That's a
Uh,
cool concept.
yeah, yeah,
I
it's
don't think it's something I would enjoy personally, but it's really, really cool.
nice. Yeah, I think so. And I can offer one more game that's kind of more of a story thing that may be more on your end of things. It's a lot shorter. It's like maybe, like 10-15 minutes to experience. It's a game in 2018, or that released in 2018, called Florence. So Florence is almost entire. I think it's entirely
I've heard of
wordless.
this one, I think.
Yeah, it's entirely wordless. There's no text, there's no big paragraphs. It's just a series of simple, like, comic panels and vignettes and like little simple puzzles where like the mechanics of the puzzle really tells the story. I really it's hard to say the things I really liked about it without spoiling too much, but like there's just simple moments where you have to like brush your teeth, or you have a conversation by like completing the speech bubble as if it were a jigsaw puzzle. But so much of that gameplay is also storytelling. Like you're instantly going, "Oh, we're doing this because it's saying this about the moment that we're in." It's really, really well crafted, emotional story about a woman who falls in love and grows up. It's a very coming of age, like from like a 20s, college or post. um I don't know, it's a really, really cool sort of emotional story. And I thought it was really well done. It's definitely more of like an art piece story, but it's pretty quick. So it's worth just checking out.
That one sounds like it's probably more up my alley, but I think
Yeah.
I've heard of it before. It sounds familiar.
Oh, it got a lot of accolades.
Yeah, I
There would
think I
have.
have heard of that one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
What else you got
Uh,
on your phone?
so Tamagotchi Life. Actually, Bandai's come out with a couple of different Tamagotchi phone games. There is like a phone app for the original two versions of the Tamagotchi, which aren't my favorite. I own a couple of them for like collector's sake, but like I don't enjoy playing them. If I'm gonna play an older Tamagotchi, I'll go with like one of the, or not older, but if I'm gonna play like a black and white Tamagotchi,
Mm.
colored, whatever, I'm gonna go with one of the connections that came out from, I don't know, 2005 to 10 probably, and that like maybe somewhere in that time frame, or the nanos that they're releasing now. So that one I don't particularly enjoy. Bandai also came out with a phone game for the Tamagotchi ons and mixes. The mixes was the Japanese version, the on was the English version. And you could connect the Tamagotchi to the phone app for like gene mixing, because that was the like the mix part. You mix genes to get a Tamagotchi that looked like both parents and like
Mm.
previous generations.
That's
They've
cool.
shut that down,
Yeah.
and everyone's really mad about it. So bad. I'm still mad at. I mean, I get it because they stopped making the ons and the mixes, and they've come out with the picks, the Tamagotchi picks, which is not everyone's favorite. And it doesn't have any like phone capabilities. They didn't do anything extra with it, so it was really disappointing to have the Tamagotchi on slash. And you could use the Japanese app. Like there was a way to go into the like, because I had both. I had the English and the Japanese version. There was just kind of a backdoor method to get the Japanese one to work.
Nice. Yeah, I'm familiar
So
with doing that for some games.
yeah, so I had both, and it was really disappointing to go from this really interactive, really cool, phone app that you could connect to your Tamagotchi, and it was a lot of fun. to, you know, something that was quote unquote newer, but it was also a lot less fabulous. Um, the Pix also has touchscreen buttons, which are miserable.
Oh.
So they're really bad. But Tamagotchi Life is more of a typical phone app. You're taking care of the Tamagotchi, but it like lives in a little house, and you meet other Tamagotchis and you watch it grow. You get it a career. There's like little mini games you can play, and basically you just keep it happy until it, you know, grows up, gets a career, moves out, and you get a new egg. But it's pretty fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's one of those I keep going back to. Just part of it is just because I obviously am obsessed with Tamagotchis, but it's also cute. You know,
Yeah,
it's fun. Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Did you have any more to talk about?
Yeah, I have one more. I have one more.
Me too.
So Monument Valley, uh, it's pretty famous for how well it did, how popular it got, and there's a sequel. But Monument Valley is this just like really nice special sort of puzzle game where you just get this little dude. I don't know gender, but you know, genderless dude. Um, in a little hat, little cone hat, and you have this little tiny puzzle box MC Escher world that you're trying to, in each scene you're trying to get the character from one place to another. The sort of Lego game I talked about last time, Lego Builder's Journey, reminds me a lot. The gameplay reminds me a lot of this game, without the building, of course. Here, this doesn't have any building, but it has a lot of little little cranks that you can sort of crank around with your finger, or little buttons that the character can hop on and that activate things, so you can sort of change things in each of the little scenes. But a lot of the times what's happening is that like you go into one door and you come out of another door, and the one door was on this surface and the other door was on a surface that feels like it's the edge of the other one, and you're just sort of like walking up the underside of a staircase. It's very Escher like in that. So the puzzle is a lot of just spatial reasoning.
Oh no.
I know you're
My
noticing.
nemesis. Oh no.
Oh gosh. So maybe not for you. Maybe not for you.
No.
I would, do look up screenshots because it's got this really wonderful, nice, soft lighting and these really cool, just tiny little diorama worlds. It is a gorgeous game. It's a wonderful little title. I know they came out with sort of a bigger version on, I don't know if it was computer or some console or something. But I might check that out at some point because I have already played the original and really loved it. I didn't play the sequel a lot, but it was sort of more good. More of that formula that was really good. So one of these days I'll pick up Monument Valley 2 and check that out. But I really, really, really enjoyed my time with the original Monument Valley, from 2014. So yeah, I recommend anyone check that out if you like Escher puzzle boxes. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Sony's Echochrome, without the Echochrome's. Echochrome had that sort of like what you see is what reality is, and that's a little bit different from what's going on here, but just that sort of puzzle box world where you're trying to get a little character from one spot to another.
Nice.
Yeah.
The last one I actually haven't played this. I've been meaning to forever. I have it downloaded. I've started it. It's Disney Twisted Wonderland. Came out in 2020. Amniplex made it. And it is basically part of the reason I have not proceeded with it is you choose like what house you go into essentially. So it's kind of like Disney Harry Potter, for lack of a better franchise to compare it to, because it's like a magic school that you have different houses in. I think there's more than 4. There's I think 5 or 6 of them maybe. And they're each like based off of a Disney villain. I don't think the villains are in the game. It's just that aesthetic for the house. But you get to choose which one that you go into, and I haven't been able to make that decision, which is really stupid. I wish you could just I wish they had you take a quiz or something and they sorted for you, or you have the option to do that, because it's a decision that I don't want to make.
It feels like it should be college, and you can go for 1 year undecided, and then you make a decision.
Essentially, yeah, it'd be great. And it's like a kind of like a visual novel. So you go through the story. I first found out about it because originally there was no like North American release. It was just in Japan. I knew about it because they made Tamagotchis out of it. Of course, they were like Bandai premium Tamagotchis, so you could only get them in Japan. They're stupid hard to get. And they were expensive. I have 3 of them, and I don't want to say how much I paid for each of them individually. It for just like one of the nanos. It was one of the nanos. So they're not even super immersive, but I really like them all the same. Yeah. So I feel like obligated that because I have those, I should play the game. They also came out with Nendroids, which are really cute, which is another thing I collect and have a problem with. Oh. Not as much as I used to. I've halted. I haven't bought too many anime figures recently.
Nendroids tend to be some of the nicer figurines.
Yeah, the Nendroids and the Figmas. I tend to like the Nendroids better. I've had a couple of bad experiences with Figmas, with them just falling apart. With a Crowding Glory, or no, I guess that was a Nendroid. I had a Hatsune Miku Halloween Nendroid that I broke. And then I found a counterfeit version of it, hoping that the pieces were swappable, and then I broke that too. So...
you're a danger to yourself and others.
That's the only one. I've only ever broken that one, and there was a Hatsune Miku Figma that I broke, and it's just that one. So, but yeah,
quality on those runs.
It was a design issue. Like the quality is fine. It was just like some of them have design issues. I had the Attack on Titan ones. And Mikasa has like a huge scratch on her back because you can put the little capes on them, but the capes rub against the paint. And so like her torso is just like ruined. They did send me a new one, but like it doesn't stop. Like I still can't put that accessory on it because it'll scratch it.
Oh, I have to just quickly, listeners, if you like, visual novels with pretty anime boys, I did a quick search on the Disney Twisted Wonderland, and it's right up that alley.
It's pretty anime boys, yeah, but like Disney.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not. It's funny.
Important note.
It's really funny because I don't think of myself as a Disney adult, even though I've been playing Dreamlight Valley, and now I'm talking about this. But I swear it's not something that I'm like. It's just a coincidence. I'm not super into Disney. I have a healthy enjoyment of it. But
okay, but if you bring up a third game, it's going to be, she doth to protest too much.
I know. I don't think there is. There is. I mean, Disney's made other games, but.
I mean, it's hard to avoid the giant conglomerate that is Disney. Every once in a while, they'll come out with something that's interesting to everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Twisted Wonderland game really does play more like a visual novel than anything else, and it
looked really cute. It looked really
twisted.
Really cute.
It has like a dark motif. It's moody and aesthetic, I guess. I think I've used that word too many times today.
No, but it is. It's really pretty. It's got like this, like that magical sort of Art Deco framing on a lot of the UI, and I thought the screenshots of some chibi scenes were really fun.
I like how it's immediately identifiable which houses belong to which villain too, even if they don't have there's no pictures of the villain anywhere, but you can tell that's Scar because it's black, brown, and green because he had that green stuff.
Yeah.
Ursula's purple and black. It's really identifiable which house belongs to which villain. I know Hades is there, Maleficent, the Evil Queen. I was happy they added Hades because I love Hercules.
That sassy villain is
great.
So
good. It's so good.
Is it hot in here? Just me.
But but even just the intro, all of the houses and the characters have little backstories, so you can kind of see what house you might want to join, what the people in that house are kind of about, and how they operate. So it feels like there's a lot of thought put into it, even just right out of the gate.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's it. I like mostly dippy fun
Mm-hmm.
game mobile games.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of this, and a lot of the things on my list are things that are sort of very visually pleasing that I can sort of dive into for a little while and then like complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For stuff like that, I'm more likely, like if there's a Steam version, I'm more likely to play it there.
And
But
honestly, a lot of the games, especially the ones on my list, have a Steam version.
I think the only one that might have like a Switch version is the Pokemon games,
Mm.
the cafe game. I think that's probably the only one.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of games on your phone, listeners. I had a blast. I don't know.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see because there's so many different ways to play games. There's so many different ways for people to enjoy games. And I think, for a while, people really used to look down
Oh yeah.
on mobile gaming,
Right. That's not a
like,
real game.
yeah, like you play Farmville, like,
Turns up nose. That's not a real game.
yeah, but like, don't make fun of people for what they like. If someone calls themselves a gamer and they only play Farmville, that's fine. Like,
Yeah. And honestly, I think a lot of the issue, the stigma came from a lot of people trying to like take games that make sense on gamepads and like adding virtual button like porting like Castlevania or like the Sonic games and be like, here's the mobile version, and it's like, no, it needs to be designed for the phone. You
yeah,
can't just make a regular game and then give us touchscreen buttons. It's not the same.
yeah.
So it's nice that we have so many years of phone games now that like you can find all the games that were made for this platform, for this experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So go forth and enjoy games however you please, folks. And I think that about does it for us today.
Goodbye.
Bye.